Welcome to Dose of Deanne, where you'll get a little shot of what my life is like living with SMA. Today my topic affects the majority of us with SMA. For me, it's increased my independence, and I can't imagine my life without it. Can you guess what I'm talking about? Wheelchairs. I've never been able to walk, so I've relied on a wheelchair my entire life. My first electric wheelchair I got when I was 7 years old. And now I hear that even some 3-year-olds are getting electric wheelchairs. I think that's pretty cool. When I got my chair, the selection was limited. Basically, I was told, here you go, this is what you get. The only choice I had was supposed to be the color, and that didn't even happen. After months of waiting, we said, what's the holdup? And they said, well, we can't get red. So we said, just send us whatever you have. So I ended up with this hospital gray color wheelchair. I credit the gaming system, Atari, and game Pac-Man with learning how to drive it. I've had about 5 different wheelchairs in my life. Here's a quick rundown of them. Here's that beautiful hospital gray that I was telling you about. We jazzed it up a little bit and added some color. I sure don't miss those big tires and having to change belts all the time. This is my junior marathon, I believe. My Quickie S626 had much smaller wheels, and as you can see, this is my same backrest. Then I gave mid-wheel drive a shot. I sure don't miss that chair, but I miss my service dog Ike, and he was a good one. Now I'm back to my rear-wheel drive, and I couldn't be happier. Now there's so many more choices, and even though I'm not a wheelchair expert, I know what works and what doesn't for me, so I'm hoping that some of my tips will help you when you make your next selection. As far as insurance goes, usually a chair will be covered every 5 years if deemed medically necessary. You can get away with getting one sooner, but something really has to be wrong with the chair, or a medical need has to arise that requires you to get a new chair. I know the last wheelchair that I had, I hated from day one. That first week I was in tears because I didn't know how I was gonna handle being in that chair for so long. I love that you can choose from different brands of wheelchairs as well. I know I've had a Quickie S626 before. I liked it. They're more known for their manual wheelchairs, but they did make some electric wheelchairs. Unfortunately, the motors didn't hold up for me, so I decided not to go for that one again. I've had a couple Invacare chairs, and I know there's one that's really popular, a brand called, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, if it's Permobile or Permobile. I've heard it a few different ways, but that's a really popular one as well. One thing to consider with brand is who your supplier is and if they're able to service that wheelchair. The one that I went through said that they service mostly Invacares, and since I wanted this chair for a long time, I wanted to be able to service it. So that's just something to consider. And now you have the choice of rear wheel drive, mid wheel drive, or front wheel drive. It really depends on where you use your chair the most and how much space you have and what you're comfortable with. I grew up with a rear wheel drive, and on my last chair, I did decide to try the mid wheel drive. I hated it. To me, I go outdoors a lot, and it didn't seem to have enough power to go through things like sand and over bumps and things like that. And I really didn't notice that much of a difference with the turning radius. In fact, the caster wheels in the front are a little bit wider, so I had trouble getting through some of my doorways. I've actually gouged them out with that last chair. And as far as turning, I didn't really find that there was a huge difference between the mid-wheel and rear-wheel drive. So for this chair, I did choose to go back to the rear-wheel drive. I would suggest making a list of things that you like and things that you don't like on your current chair. For example, On my last wheelchair, the one that I hated, the only thing that I liked was that the foot plate came directly out from the chair, so there were no sidebars on the sides. Of course, I requested that on the rear-wheel drive, and they couldn't do it. But they were able to custom make the footrests so the bars don't extend quite as far and they kind of come in a little bit. There's all kinds of packages you can get now. I've heard you can get lighting packages. I've heard you can get speed packages. The elevation feature and adjustable footrest. You can get a chair that reclines, or you can get a chair that tilts. You might even be able to do both. Think about what features you would use and need and go for those. If there's optional features that aren't covered by insurance, you may have to cover them out of pocket if it's something that you really want. If there is a feature that you know would be useful and you can show medical necessity, I would certainly try to get as many features as you can. And I've also heard the newer chairs, which I'm kind of jealous about, you can plug your phones into and do all kinds of stuff like that. Currently, the only feature that I have on my chair is tilt, and frankly, I don't know how I lived without it for so long. On my next chair, I am going to look into the automated footrest and also elevation. I can see where that would really come in handy, especially with my limited reach and having to move my feet around so often to get comfortable. Another important thing is to find a cushion that you like. I know some people do the Roho cushions with the air-filled pockets. I know Jay is a popular one, and there's a few others out there. But be sure and talk with your supplier on what works best for you, and don't be afraid to speak out about comfort. If there's a certain type of seatbelt or harness you like, don't be afraid to, suggest that on your new chair. I've even moved things I've liked from my old chairs to my new chairs. For 3 of my chairs, I had the same backrest, and now I have a custom molded backrest on this one. On this chair, I have my old swing away joystick mount. They don't make it anymore. Mine swings in and out, and they don't make that anymore, so I was able to have them mount that joystick mount onto this chair. Joysticks are very important when you're getting your chair. They make different styles for different abilities, but consider where the power button is on your chair. I don't know if I can back up and show you on mine. My power button is right here in the front, and on some of my chairs the power button was behind the joystick. And when the power button and the speed buttons were behind the joystick, I would bump them a lot with my wrist and my hand because I don't have a lot of lift to my arm. So last time I got my wheelchair, the gal is like, I noticed your hand rests on your joystick. Would you consider getting the buttons in the front? And that was something that didn't even occur to me, but yeah, and it's really worked out well for me. And my last but most important tip is to make your wheelchair your own. Whether it's putting bumper stickers on the back or having a bag on your back that is just totally your style. If you don't like the lights on your joystick, don't be afraid to black them out with black fingernail polish. That's what I did for mine, but if you like the lights, just leave them. Whatever it is, make your chair your own. Give it your own little style. That way you can own it and be like, yep, this is my chair and this is how I like it to be. So that's probably my most important tip. Do you have any tips for me? I'd love to hear them. Just comment below in the forums or on the YouTube channel and let me know what your tips are. Is there a favorite brand of chair that you like? Do you love your mid-wheel drive? I want to know your reasons and what you love and what you don't love about your wheelchair. So next time, everybody can get their perfect chair. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you again. Bye for now.